The veteran sat in the dimly lit cantina, his forearms trembling slightly as he raised the crystalline glass to his mandibles. Commander Zekthar of the Virillian Empire had seen 3 decades of combat across 17 star systems, but nothing had prepared him for humanity. "You want to know about the humans?" he rasped to the young recruits gathered around his table. "Sit down. What I'm about to tell you isn't in any tactical manual." The recruits exchanged nervous glances. Tales of the human conflict had spread throughout the galaxy like a plague, whispered in the shadows of military academies and fleet command centers. Most dismissed them as exaggerations, the fevered imagings of shell-shocked soldiers. Zekthar knew better. It was the Kepler 4 and 4-2 campaign, he began, his secondary eyes glazing over with memory. High Command assured us it would be simple. The humans were outnumbered 3-1. Our ships were faster, our weapons more advanced, our tactics refined over 10,000 years of conquest. We had crushed 67 species before them. 67. He paused, draining his glass before continuing. The battle should have lasted 3 solar days. It lasted 3 months, and we lost. One recruit, too young to hide his skepticism, chirped, "But Commander, how could a species that only achieved faster-than-light travel 30 years ago defeat the Empire?" Zekthar's laugh was bitter and cold. "That's what we asked ourselves as we retreated through the debris field of our own fleet. Let me tell you what makes humans different." He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper that somehow commanded absolute attention. "During the siege of Station Arcturus, we cornered a human platoon in the maintenance sector. 43 soldiers against our 200 elite shock troops. We had them trapped with no ammunition, no supplies, no hope. Standard protocol. They should have surrendered. Every civilized species surrenders when defeat is certain. It's logical. It preserves life for future service." The commander's primary hands clenched into fists. The humans started singing. We thought they'd gone mad. Then they attacked us with maintenance tools, with pipes ripped from the walls with their bare hands. One of them, a female no larger than a Virillian juvenile, tackled our squad leader and beat him to death with a wrench while absorbing enough plasma fire to kill 3 of our warriors. She kept fighting even after her primary organs had failed. Her neural activity continued for 47 seconds after what should have been a fatal injury. 47 seconds of pure, focused violence. The recruits sat in horrified silence. "We killed them all eventually," Zekthar continued, his voice hollow. "But they took 163 of us with them. The human species calls it spite. We don't even have a word for it in our language." He signaled for another drink, his hands still shaking. "But that wasn't the worst of it. Do you know what's truly terrifying about humans? They refuse to accept reality. On Kepler 442, we destroyed their primary supply depot. No food, no medical supplies, nothing. They should have starved in 2 weeks. Instead, they started eating the local flora, plants that our xenobiologists confirmed were toxic to mammalian life. 30% of them died from the poison. The other 70% developed immunity and kept fighting. Their bodies just adapted in weeks. Adaptations that should take thousands of generations happened in their individual lifetimes because they simply refused to die." One of the recruits, a female with ceremonial scars denoting high birth, asked quietly, "Is it true what they say about their medical personnel?" Zekthar's expression darkened. "You've heard about the medic of Kepler Station?" She nodded. "It's all true. During an orbital bombardment, a human medical officer was trapped in a field hospital with 40 wounded soldiers, both human and Virillian prisoners. The structure was collapsing. She had 10 minutes to evacuate. Our calculations indicated she could save herself and perhaps 3 others. He paused, his breathing labored. She saved 38. She went back into that collapsing building 7 times. On her final run, the ceiling came down. We found her 3 days later, crushed beneath a support beam. She was still alive, barely, and she asked her enemies if her patients were safe. When we told her yes, she smiled and died. The cantina had fallen completely silent. Even the bartender had stopped moving. "That's when I understood," Zekthar said softly. "We fight for territory, for resources, for glory. Humans fight for each other. Every single one of them believes that every other one is worth dying for. It makes them irrational, unpredictable, unstoppable." He stood slowly, his old wounds protesting. "There's a human saying we intercepted from their communications. We will not go quietly into the night." At first we thought it was bravado, Now I understand it's a warning. Humans don't surrender. They don't accept defeat. They don't know how to quit. You can kill them, but you cannot make them stop fighting. Each death only makes the survivors angrier, more determined, more dangerous. The commander placed a small, worn data cube on the table. This contains my complete tactical analysis of the human conflict. Every engagement, every strategy, every loss. High Command classified it. They don't want the Empire to know the truth. What truth? The young recruit asked. Zekthar's 4 eyes fixed on him with an intensity that made the youngster shrink back. That we didn't defeat the humans at Kepler 442. They let us leave. After 3 months of hell, after losing 70% of our invasion force, they offered us a ceasefire. Not surrender, a ceasefire. They let us retreat with our wounded, our honor intact. Do you know why? The recruits shook their heads. Because they understood that if they annihilated us completely, the Empire would send the full fleet. And the humans knew they couldn't win that fight. Not yet. So they taught us a lesson instead. They showed us that conquering Earth would cost more than any victory could be worth. They turned a battle into a message. He moved toward the exit, then paused. The High Council has declared humanity off limits. No contact, no conflict, no conquest. We've added them to the forbidden zones alongside the crystalline hive minds of Andromeda and the void entities of the Abyss sector. And the truly terrifying part? In the 30 years since they discovered FTL travel, humans have colonized 47 star systems. In another 30 years, they'll have hundreds. In a century. Zekthar didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. As he limped out into the neon-lit streets of the station, the old commander couldn't help but look up at the stars and wonder which one was Sol. Somewhere out there, humanity was growing, evolving, spreading across the cosmos like a wildfire, and the galaxy would never be the same. Behind him, the young recruit sat in silence, staring at the data cube on the table. None of them reached for it. Some truths they were learning were too heavy to bear. But in the darkness between stars, humanity continued its inexorable march outward, carrying with them the one thing that no other species in the galaxy possessed: the absolute, unshakable belief that surrender was never an option.